I have gone through the Kroy Biermann Jr. arrest documents and court records that we have as of now, and I'm going to go through them with you. From this point forward, I'm going to refer to Kroy Jr. just as KJ to make it easier. We are going to have to handle this case and going over the documents a little differently than some of the other cases that I'm able to kind of dive right into, just due to the ages of the people involved. But first, please understand, I need to run this EDSA disclaimer first. The following video is a documentary analysis of a sensitive criminal case involving minors. This content is presented strictly for educational, historical, and public safety awareness purposes. We do not exploit or sensationalize the events discussed and strictly stick to presenting the facts available to the public. Due to the nature of the topic, viewer discretion is strongly advised. Welcome to the Light True Crime. Let's get into the details of this case and what's going on. Let's start with the obvious here. KJ is 15 years old. He's in high school, and a case like this that involves a minor that is with the juvenile court is typically something that has sealed records. However, this one is not, and there's a reason for that. Let's start with just going off the charges. He is being charged with the warrants that were filed with a felony aggravated sodomy and felony aggravated, we'll say intimate battery. What makes this different and why this is public record and why we're going to discuss this in the way we can is because the Alpharetta Police Department out of Georgia has confirmed he is being charged as an adult. So in a case where the age of 15, we would typically not see court documents, the arrest information, or even photos that are taken for juvenile detention. That's why we have this here. It is deemed an adult case as of this time. And this is the defendant, KJ, that we will be discussing in this case. And many know who these two are right here. They are formally, in this case, KJ's parents and guardians. But we have Kim Zolciak here, who is a former Real Housewives of Atlanta TV star. And you have Kroy Biermann here, who was a former NFL player. Now, typically I do show court documents in the background while I read them. However, I will not be doing that in this instance. And the reason is I cannot edit out or redact the victim's name in as many places as it is. And with that being said, I'm going to read through them. You have to understand that on social media, I need to adjust the wording that I use, so please be respectful of that. So I'm going to read the probable cause document and go through it. And again, the only thing I'm taking out is anything that really identifies the victim. Some documents I will be able to share, and I'll just kind of keep those up in the background, but that's just how we're going to have to handle this case. So I'm sorry for the longer than usual intro, but I wanted to make sure I explained all of this in detail. I'm somebody that likes to very much stick to the facts of the cases that I present here and go through the documents because that's what we have to work with. And then you take from that, form your own opinions, and we'll follow these cases as they go along. Without further ado, let's read into this affidavit for arrest of KJ. The alleged incident occurred on April 23rd, 2026. And this has taken place in Alpharetta, which is in Fulton County. And again, the offenses that are being accused here is the aggravated sodomy, where you commit sodomy with force and against the will of the other person. And this affidavit is going to show why a warrant was issued for KJ's arrest. So on April 23rd, 2026, this occurred in the family changing area of the Lifetime Fitness located in Alpharetta. It is said that KJ forced the victim against her will to perform this oral act on him. The victim stated that after school on April 23rd, 2026, the victim went to Lifetime Fitness thinking that they had a chiropractor appointment. When the victim realized that it was the wrong day, she went to work out. After working out, she went to the cafe where she saw KJ enter the gym. KJ came over and they hung out for a while in the cafe. He asked the victim if she wanted to go to the co-ed sauna with him. She replied yes. The victim stated that in order to get to the co-ed sauna, you have to go through the family changing room. Both parties were seen entering the family changing rooms. The victim stated that KJ asked her to come look at something in one of the rooms. She stated that when she stepped in, he closed the door. It is alleged that KJ then begins to try what the victim refers to as a finger over her ribbed biker shorts. When he began to rub on her, it hurt everywhere. She stated that she didn't know what to do. She felt like she was frozen. She stated that she did not expect him to do that and stated that he was doing it very fast and hard and that it hurt. It stated that she swatted his hand away a few times, telling him to stop. He then attempted to go into her pants. He was able to get inside of her pants, and he began to use his finger in her private area. The victim stated that he only digitally did this a few times in that area, and she told him to stop and pushed him back a little bit. It stated that he then began to kiss her again, but she began to move her face away. He then told her, "You're fine. You're fine. It's not like I am forcing this." The victim then said, "But yes, you are." It is alleged that KJ then suggested that she do something to him and return, and she told him no. He told her to just give him oral. She told him that she did not want to do that. It is alleged that KJ then stated to her, "You're lucky that I am not forcing you down there right now." The victim stated, "I am not doing this." KJ then kisses her again. The victim stated that any time she would say no, he would kiss her to stop her from talking. He then grabs her hand, tried to put it on his private, and she moved it. She stated that she told him she was not doing this. KJ stated, "No, it's different. It is not head." He then pulled his pants down and asked her to do it for like 10 seconds. The victim stated that he would not stop asking, even after she told him that she really did not want to do that. It is alleged that he would grab her hand and place it on his private, and she would pull back. She told him again that she did not want to do this. He asked again, please, for only 10 seconds. She finally gave in. She stated that she performed oral on him for about 5 seconds before standing up and telling him again that she does not want to do this. While she is giving him oral, he repeats to her that she is better than his girlfriend. The report goes on to say that KJ then gets mad and puts his hand on her shoulder and pushes her down to his private. He then pushes her head into his private. The victim states that her eyes began to tear up because she did not want to do this and she was not comfortable. She then stood up. KJ begins to ask her over and over again to have sex with her. She tells him no, that she is going to leave. She brings up that he has a girlfriend, that this is bad again. He then pulls her pants down and she attempted to pull them back up. The victim stated that he was actively attempting to have sex with her. She stated that she had thong panties on. He began to rub his private against her panties over her private. She tells him to stop. He then begins to self-pleasure himself. She said this is not okay to him. At this time, she stated that she was up against the wall and he was against her. She stated that she began going in circles in an attempt to get away from him, but he followed her. Finally, when she continues to say no, he gets mad and leaves. She stated that after he left, she stayed in the cubicle. The victim stated that she felt nasty. She checked and she was bleeding after the encounter from her private. She stated that she was really irritated by the rubbing. The victim was seen by a SANE nurse, which is a specialized nurse who handles these type of kits performed for these instances, at the hospital on April 24th, 2026, where one of those kits was completed. On May 3rd, 2026, the detective received results back from the GBI, which for those who don't know, the GBI is the Georgia Bureau of Investigation out there. In the results were concurrent with the statements received from the victim. On June 24, 2026, the detective received a call from KJ's attorney notifying that he had taken the case. I will briefly comment that in the complaint area of the section, they had said that the detective reached out to the father to see if they could talk to KJ, and he said he would speak to KJ's mother and determine the next best steps. And obviously from this conclusion here, they decided to simply get an attorney. The affidavit goes on to say, on August 6th, 2026, the detective met with the victim and her parents. During this meeting at the police station, this is where the victim established basically how she knew KJ and was kind of aware with him. He was part of a friend group. They go to different high schools, but they have a similar friend. However, after this incident, the victim stated that she did block KJ on social media and through her phone, and the other person that she also knows in relation to their friendship. Just to kind of show you, this is basically a small portion, the header of the affidavit that I did read from, to kind of let you know I am reading from official court documents in this case. After this was handled, we had the state warrants for arrests that were put out. Now, this is for the first felony charge here, and they had a state warrant for the second felony charge here. This is another follow-up confirming that This warrant information was verified and confirmed and pushed out to the Alpharetta Milton Communications Center and agencies that were going to need to arrest KJ. KJ was taken into police custody and arrested on August 17th. And as I showed before in a previous document, there is no bond on these charges. So ever since KJ's arrest, he has been in juvenile court detention. This here is a document that was filed in the court system on August 21st, 2026. It's for a production of the juvenile, and it was amended just for the date in court. It's for September 8th, 2026 at 1 p.m. And this is going to be for a hearing. Basically, it is simply saying that they need the law enforcement there to be able to transport the defendant KJ from juvie to the court, and he will go back unless otherwise ordered from the court, pending the outcome of this hearing. So formally, those are the next steps in this case, is waiting to see what happens on September 8th at the hearing. Now, the media that was reporting on this case had reached out, and they did get a response from KJ's mom, Kim, from August 21st, and this is her statement regarding the situation. Quote, "The allegations being made against my son are nothing short of reckless and deeply troubling. He categorically denies ever being involved with this woman or engaging in the conduct she has alleged." I'm going to pause for a moment there just to give my input on that. To say involved with this woman is a gross representation of the situation. A 15-year-old is a minor. They are still a child. So I cannot stand when we have cases like this of trying to take a female and kind of up her by saying she's a woman. I've had this issue with the Celeste Rivas case with people saying, a woman or relationship. It's still a child. And understandably, he's still a child as well. These are two minors that we are talking about. Now, in her statement, it went on to say that Kim also claimed that KJ passed a voluntary polygraph exam and that no DNA evidence was found during an investigation into the alleged incident. Now, I can expand a little bit on that about the DNA evidence. As I stated from the affidavit, it did say that it corroborated basically with the statement provided. However, what it also did go in to say, and it's hard, again, I have to watch the wording, is that basically the internal exam from the lower part and the mouth part did not return male DNA evidence. This kit was also performed the next day. And this was because this information comes from the complaint that I was stating prior to the affidavit. This is because the victim told her grandmother, and her grandmother, who was just watching her at the time because her guardian was out of town, is the one who took her to the hospital for this kit, but it was performed a day later. And then another part that wasn't in the affidavit section, but was in the complaint, reviews the fact of the video surveillance that was available at this gym. And the detective went to the location to get information. And when they watched video surveillance, this is what they found. The detective says that in the video, they observed the victim arriving, walking past the chiropractic desk, what time that they were seen at the cafe. The victim was seen going to the family dressing room with KJ. It goes on to state what time the victim exited the family dressing room and headed towards the lobby. And then it also states at what time KJ is seen exiting the family dressing room and heading toward the sauna alone. So that is everything that there is to report on at this time for the case. So please take those statements that I was able to give you from the court documents, and also take the statement that was provided by Kim. And as I tell everybody, I'm giving you the information and the facts, and it is up to you to, take the information, come to your own conclusions. This is an open investigation, an open case. And like I said, we will follow it and watch what happens. I do need to reiterate that all parties, every defendant is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And I also want to reiterate, as I do in many of my videos, that we do not reach out to or bother any of those mentioned. We are simply here on a factual basis, looking over public court documents. So that's going to wrap it up for coverage of this case at this time. And I will look back in on September 8th, 2026 to see if we have any updates from the hearing that is going to occur. Thank you so much for tuning into The Light True Crime. Please make sure that you're following me for more updates on this case and many others that I do cover. As I always say here, what happens in the dark will always come to the light. Please stay safe. Be kind to one another. Please be respectful in the comments. And as always, I will see you all in the next one.